Ooh. Okay, clearly we have, oh, I'm an idiot. That's right. Wow. Yep. That's a problem. Dang, I remember taking that off too. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm trying to block the noise a little bit here, but it is time to install that engine and remove this 6.4. It has served us really well. We're gonna save it for another competition. Let's get this thing fired up. True cold start. Meyer must have broke the plug off when he stole it last time. So it is, I don't know, about 50 degrees, I'd say. Yeah, about 50 degrees. Let's ooh, battery dead. All right, stand by. Okay, take 2. This is probably gonna be pretty bad. It is so cold out here, guys. Street truck. Oh, come on, baby, stay. Woo. All right, don't have a low compression engine. Getting their coolant drained while I let it cool off from that short little jog over here. I don't want to burn myself and I want to be efficient, so I'm gonna work on some other stuff real quick and we will blow this thing apart as we always do. Stay tuned. Okay, a couple of connectors, the fan, the belt, the AC, and she's ready to come out. We're gonna go ahead, get this thing up on the lift and start working on the trans. she is out. And now it becomes the task of swapping everything over. So here she goes in her moving crate to be housed until we need another sleeved 6.7. Served us well. We're just gonna leave it like that. We have enough parts for all the other engines that we can leave this one together and still build a couple more, which is always nice. And now, after I kicked over our 5-gallon bucket of coolant all over there, we have this guy on the stand. ECM, brackets, fuel rail, all that Meyer did. I'm gonna just double check it real quick. Everything's tight. This is tight. Just got the shit bent out of it. But yeah, fire pump tool back on. All we gotta do is pull this off the engine stand, put that last motor mount in, and then she goes. Tell you what, boys and girls, it is a lot easier to swap engines when they're not blown up. All I needed was a little brake clean on that back wall for the soot, and that was all it took. Kind of cool. Interesting. I can understand now why people pull engines out before they blow up. Definitely a learning experience for sure. So after a night's work, we got that one out, got this one in. Trans converter bolts are tight. I just kind of put the AC compressor on, coolant hose. I still got to do all this wiring and stuff, but it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. It took us about 4 hours in total. With, I would say I did about 2 hours worth of work pulling the front end apart and all that stuff, getting prepped. And then when Shad and Meyer showed up, it was about 2 hours getting it all done here. And it looks beautiful. I don't know if the silver and the teal really match that well, but you won't be able to see too much of it. Definitely something to think about for next time. But here she is, and we're calling it a night. One of the things that we have to repair from All Truck Challenge is this ground. This was the one that got ripped off when the intercooler blew. This is the one that goes down there to the corner of the engine. It's the main battery ground. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with this lug. I mean, I yanked on this thing pretty dang hard and it's not coming off. So we're just gonna fill this with solder and shrink tube it up and continue working on this mess today.
everything is not enough. Feeling out by the ocean, among all those white hot sands, where every sunrise is just for you. So come along and take my hand.
Hey, we got all our wiring done. Now, belt, tensioner, alternator, put the belt on, and then she should be about ready to fire. I am going to throw the grid heater and the intake horn on just so we can control what comes in, but we'll get it fired up and start the cam brake in. I'm trying to make this video not an identical replica of the 6.4, so kind of got it all finished up. Catch can, intake horn. We got our breather hose, which I gotta find the actual ones for these. I don't think these are the right length. We're gonna get the battery charger hooked up for this and then get our turbo hooked up. I think I'm gonna just put the turbo all the way on. I do have to make a downpipe for it, but I don't think it's gonna happen today at least. So the way I do the hot retorques, I don't put the belt on. And after I shot that, I was like, oh, wow, I'm stupid. So what I do is I run a battery charger off the positive and negative terminals of the battery, and from there I use the battery charger to simulate the alternator. The reason I do that is I really don't want this water pump spinning dry. They do have a failure every once in a while, so we'll get the turbo put on here, oil feed, oil drain line, and she'll be ready. Something that we haven't hit on in a while, because we haven't had to do this in a while, is pre-lubing your turbo. So this is a brand new 476 SXE, and we shoot a little bit of oil in there, and then when I have two hands, I'm going to go ahead and spin the compressor wheel. Doesn't take much, but this is how you prevent a warranty. Once you get that pre-lubed, we're going to go ahead and pull out one of these plugs here. And if you have compounds with a 12 valve, sucks to be you. If you have compounds with a common rail, you're lucked out because there's 3 ports on here. But basically we just have this oil pressure gauge. I think honestly you get one off Amazon. It's really not that vital. You just want to make sure that you have oil pressure, and you want to make sure you get a long enough one where you can, we did put a little thread locker on there, not thread locker, sealant. But basically you want to make sure you can adequately monitor the oil pressure, especially on braking. A lot of things can potentially go wrong, and generally they go wrong pretty quick. So we're gonna get this cinched up here, and then we just run this line with this gauge here up to the window so the driver can see it. Once you have finished all of that, we get everything kind of zip tied in this fashion. Make sure the harmonic balancer is clear, and I just do a double check. I make sure my oil feed, drain, oil pressure sensor, make sure that other plug's in. I'm checking fuel, all that fun stuff, because that will make a hell of a mess if you're not ready for it. And I think we're ready to at least prime this system. So we go in here, and we're watching fuel pressure, which I think is this. Yeah, it's the top one here. Focus. There we go. I'm gonna just get in. This is gonna make life a lot easier. Okay, so I just wiggled some wires around and check it out. We have lift pump. Now clearly battery's not too happy, so we're gonna go ahead and get the jump box hooked up. Okay, so we should have enough. Now we're just gonna crank this puppy until we get some oil pressure. It's gonna be quite stressful, not gonna lie. This battery is just hating life. Come back a little later. Lift pump sounds a lot stronger. It's a good sign. Oh. Yeah. Hold on here. So you ever sit there wondering what could have possibly gone wrong? And then you're like, wow, that sounds awfully familiar. Click, 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 click. Battery voltage is good now. And then you flash back to good buddy Gordon's engine at King of the Street when the main battery ground wasn't hooked up. Wasn't quite that bad. It was hooked up. The problem was I had paint on there. I forgot to wire wheel it off, so it wasn't making a good connection. Well, lo and behold, guys, guess what happens now when you crank it? And this just kind of serves as a purpose of, I've been doing this for a while, and even I make mistakes. So without further ado, let's get some freaking oil pressure. Let's go. Again, this is dry. Just making sure the tranny's in neutral. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna let the battery rest and I'll pick it up. We're just gonna give that charger. Let's get it. So there you guys have it. I promise you, I did not like edit and change it. I know we started and stopped the camera, but that legit was the second time I cranked it. We got good oil pressure. The camshaft that I dropped off the toolbox has not broken yet. So now, again, common rails are pretty easy. Ooh, okay, clearly we have, oh, I'm an idiot, that's right. Wow. Yep, that's a problem. Dang, I remember taking that off too. Well, we'll fix that and hook up the injectors. Okay, now that we've made a mess, let's go ahead, plug the old infectors in here, like so. Let's hear how this thing runs and what oil pressure it has now that all the holes are plugged. Well, good news is it runs. Bad news is the air compressor kicked on. But now, let's get this thing ready to move outside. We're just gonna back it up and we'll run it for the hot retorque outside. To 2,000 sweeping for about 10 minutes. I'm also using this as the hot retorque time, so I have to be a little bit more careful. We don't want to get the engine too hot without coolant because we will scuff off stuff. But this is it. We got good oil pressure. Kind of hard to see, but yeah, good oil pressure. Cam hasn't broke yet. And now we just wait. We're just over 2 minutes into this. Our hot idle, it's about 30 right now. So the hot retorque is done. We got a lot of movement, which is a good thing. Myra and I have played around with the heat in which we do these. We used to do 150, 160, 170. 180 seems to work really good. So we take a digital thermometer, which I'm using Myers, it's a Milwaukee. And all you're doing is reading the temperature off the oil filter, which now it's 145. It cools off quick, which is why you have to do this so fast. And now I'm gonna let this cool off. It sounded really good. A little trick for you guys: if you have a snap-on torque wrench, right there, see that number? That's the amount of times that you torqued a fastener at this foot-pound since the last time it was reset. Kind of cool. 26 head studs. I know I didn't miss any. I also always do a head. I do the head torque, and then I do a line torque where you go inline front, back, back. That way you know you didn't miss any. Guys, it sounded really, really healthy. I'm really pissed about that battery ground, but you know what? Big jobs, right? So now we're gonna let this thing cool off. We still have to do our intercooler piping. We still have to do our full exhaust. We have to clean up this mess we just made. Put the whole front end together. Put the coolant in it. Get that bled, and then we can go rip this thing. But it's looking really promising for tomorrow to have this thing on the street starting to rip. Now that everything's cooled off, we're gonna go ahead and throw this back together. I will save you guys the spectacle. I wanna get this all sealed up, and then we're gonna start working on all of the turbo stuff. I mean, not all the turbo stuff. Mainly just the wastegate pipe. Got to get that built. That's a lot easier with the front end apart. And then put the serpentine belt on, tensioner on, and kind of odds and ends. So I'll save you guys the theatrics. Let me get this all put together here, and I'll watch. I will show you all the front end going back together on this thing. Okay, so we got pretty lucky on this downpipe. This is a scrap from a compound kit. I only had to make one kit. I basically had to make it up a little higher to clear the transmission cross member. So we're gonna go get this. We got it tacked up. Let's burn it in. One thing I absolutely love about high mounts, besides the turbo being like all up in your face, you can put the downpipe in from the top. I need two hands, but I'll show you guys what it looks like. And there you have it. Kind of hard to see, but right down there, done. We have our wastegate dump pipe done. We have our turbo blanket on, and here's where the wastegate dump pipe's at. Now it is officially time to put this front end together and add some coolant and see what leaks. Okay, so we got the front end put together real time. It was about 28 minutes. Battery is charged. I just test fitted our intake pipe, which works out really sweet. We have our old HE351 charge pipe. That looks like it's gonna work out perfectly as well. So we're gonna pull this apart, get these two pipes here painted, or sorry, elbow and pipe painted. From there, we'll get this missing boot hooked up, top off the coolant, get our catch can hooked up, and make sure that she runs, and then we'll put the bumper on and take her for a drive. Finished product. Let's get her on the lift. God dang, she looks good. Kind of wish we had, I don't know how I feel about this color. Let me know in the comments. It's growing on me. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, let's get her on the lift. And here we are underneath. Just beautiful, beautiful fresh oil paint. Always a big fan. We got some severe damage from sled pulling. I'm gonna pull this off for right now, and the rear, or at least the bottom portion of this guy right here. It just rattles a lot, and I don't need it driving on the street. And then here's our downpipe fitment. Again, pretty good. Very happy with it, that's for sure. Today we are dealing with a customer return MBRP kit. This is for 03 to 04 trucks. I'm in it to win it, I guess, at this point. This is all we could get, so hopefully it works. Okay, just like that. Exhaust is in with a muffler. MBRP has these new style clamps. These can suck a fat one. Definitely needed Meyer and his dad's help to get this done. But other than that, it is a 5-inch all the way back exhaust. Doesn't move. Got decent tip placement. I try to get mine down like that, so when you put the 90 on to go drag racing, it doesn't hit the bed. But all in all, decent. Let's get this thing down, and we'll give you guys some exhaust sounds. Here we go, maiden voyage. Let's go see how bad I screwed this tune-up up. Well, so far we have all the gears. Woo! Guys, it feels good. It feels good again. I mean, we tuned this truck, and it's actually driving. A little lethargic on the pedal. I think I didn't give it enough. I wasn't sure. I mean, honestly, this is a whole new tune-up, so I wasn't sure how it was going to respond. Wow. I know it's hard to tell, but I can see in the mirror. No smoke that I can tell, again, in the mirror. Guys, so there's the exhaust note. And we did a couple of little rips for you guys just there. Again, we're still doing break-in. Not like we're worried about the engine coming apart, but I still got one more hot retorque on the head gasket, which is why we always play it safe. Hopefully you guys liked this video. Drop a comment what you guys think about the setup and the color. Like I said, it's growing on me. Not too sure if we'll keep it that way. It's not hard to paint over stuff. But yeah, give this one a thumbs up. Drop that comment. Subscribe if you are not already. And as always, guys, I will catch you on the next one.